Hello, welcome to today's video, which is just a gander down memory lane at bets I've made in the past. Of course, today is a great day. It was a pretty good day for football, given you have it's not the deciding match for Portugal, but you're pretty close to it with Sporting and Benfica, of course, with a game after to go, but presumably, and this is against Vitoria, Guimarães, and Braga, I believe. So it's not like it's a done deal, but I think this is the decider in many regards. And they have Lazio, Juventus, of course, big, huge game for a Champions League, and you have Atleti, Real Sociedad, right? Sociedad fighting to qualify for Europe. You've got Villa, Newcastle. Oh, excuse me, Bournemouth, Villa, and tomorrow, of course, you've got uh, some good games as well, and of course, it's Mother's Day. But nevertheless, you know, play money and all of that. Uh, but I figured, like it is some work to keep a spreadsheet to keep track of things, right? And if you're gonna keep a spreadsheet, uh, you may as well have the benefit the same way like having Instagram post history is nice to be able to look at memories and whatnot. I think the same way is nice for betting to relive the good moments. You can see it kind of like when I realized that draw no bets were a very viable thing. I think clearly right like you can right nice by using decimal odds and not stupid American odds. It's very easy to compute the actual implied odds, right? Just one divided by the decimal odds. That gives you the implied probability. And then, of course, if you sum up the outcomes, like, how come out of PSG versus Borussia Dortmund, how come each of the outcomes adds up to 105%? How can that be when the event, when it happens, can only be 100%? And therefore, that is the VIG of the sportsbook. And you can kind of see how it is. You'll see some where it's not 100. That's because I used like a special promotion or something like that to uh, to benefit myself. But again, I think also just mathematically right. Like these odds, like the implied odds, like they are directionally correct, and you can kind of see like if you're looking at like a modestly even. Um, Let's find an example. Like something like this, right? Like Young Boys versus Galatasaray. Very disappointing. Hilarious how Galatasaray collapsed against Young Boys back in the qualifying rounds. But you're right, 29%, 45. So effectively, you're like again, and this is like your normal distribution, right? One divided by three for your three outcomes. It's 33%. And so you kind of see how your 33% is loosely accurate. Of course, you're paying more than you should, right? And that's kind of why you think about prediction markets versus sports books. Like I think in some ways it's not a bad thing for sports books because conceptually, if your sophisticated bettors are smart and realize how like your smart bettors know they're paying like a 5 cent tax, 6 cent tax, 5 cent tax. I mean, like if your smart bettors know they're paying a tax, then and presumably like your smart bettors are ones who are not live betting, who are just smarter and presumably like not better bettors, but better about risk management, better about not being the profit center for the sports books, right? Like, I don't think your smart bettors are your VIPs, for example, right? And so with that out the way, I'm not going through all of it because I have some earnings calls or some earnings reports to read and some miscellaneous emails and whatnot. But I figured certainly for the big boys, I'd go through some of that history. I think it'll just visually. It is kind of amusing to see like yeah, what happens if I try to make a bar chart over time. um, well, you can see the distribution of bets. Um, yeah, I don't think it's accurately summing up dates, or maybe the proportions off. But yeah, I guess like my history goes back to 2023, so we're encroaching on 2 years. As you can see like how volume is dissipated, and I think you can see how I think also like just the benefit of drawing no bets. Like I think this skew of outcomes, like you are compensated for more, like because there's an implicit risk of a tie, right? I think in a draw no bet you protect yourself, and at that point, if like in a draw no bet, if like the phase value odds are like 50-50, one divided by two, in a loose sense, like you have more embedded upside. Um, if I think about the best ones, Man United Galatasaray, glorious, glorious, glorious outcome right there. That was a great October. It was a fun October. I remember watching that live. Cardi, Mertens, incredible stuff. Uh, yeah, Arsenal getting beat by Lyon, got me good. Madrid, Napoli. I think Verde had a screamer. Shakhtar and oh gosh, there's one where Shakhtar beat Barca. Where is that? Shakhtar Barca. The odds were so wide on that. So this was the bet when it was live. I think going into it is like Shakhtar was at like 10. So your drawing bet would have been like 8. 1 divided by 8, like 12%. Uh, I mean, of course, that was a hilarious season, right, for Barca, right, with like João Felix and all of that. Um, Dortmund Newcastle kind of funny, right? Of course, I think Newcastle beat PSG at that. Well, yeah, yeah. Dortmund did a double on them. Porto, Antwerp. I think those are probably super lucky to walk away with. It's given a draw no bet. Of course, we're just the fact that multiple outcomes could have happened. Uh, Milan getting manhandled, and then the other side, I got manhandled. Unfortunate. That Giroud had her out of nowhere. Incredible. Bayern Galatasaray. That one ticks me off a bit. Let me find a screenshot of that game. November 2023. Oh, it's a different game. Galatasaray. This one, October 2024. This one ticks me off because I will post how Galatasaray, lines of the Bosphorus. Make sure you can see it. Yeah, right. Galatasaray, like that first half, if you watch it live, complete manhandle. Like that. Of course, this was Tuchel's Bayern, so somewhat dysfunctional. But like, if you watch the replay of the match, I think, and you can see it here, right? Like Galatasaray's press was incredibly dominant. Of course, the press evidently, you know, petered out as the game went on, but personally, undone. I think I correctly identified. I correctly identified asymmetry. I think like the optimal thing would have been to do a draw no bet, of course. Um, that one does stand out. Is disappointment. Benfica, Real Sociedad. That was funny. I mean, yeah, I mean that season Real Sociedad were quite good. Of course, we knocked out by PSG in the round of 16, but I think just again like Real Sociedad is like pressing and just pressing style. It's really good to watch, and I think I'm not sure if I had anything on the last game between Sociedad and Inter. And of course, Inter are a good squad, Internacional. But in that game against Inter, I think in San Siro, Sociedad completely dominated. Um, okay, here we see like kind of like big breaks. I don't think it really did much. Like Barca, Napoli, in the knockouts. I had, but I think the group stage I kind of Newcastle Milan. Uh, my Wi-Fi cut out during Chukwueze's goal on that counter, but again, identifying asymmetry, good stuff. Um, Barca Porto. I think that's accurate. That's a good call, but yeah, not like I had anything on the final. I, Incredible how Madrid snuck through against City. If you're being objective, and then yeah, Madrid and Dortmund in the final. Come on, guys, lads, it's Dortmund. Apologies for the delay. I'm watching Celta, Celta Vigo.
He arguably thought he'd heard the whistle because
Celta
there are
Vigo
about
Sevilla on the side, and Del's about to take a penalty.
30,000 Celta fans who are whistling as he makes his run up. So, take two. And he scores! Guaita went the wrong way into the top corner from...
Crack of a penalty, top left corner. Yeah, that's kind of right. Like, and I think some of it comes out of like finals and stuff, but they have UEFA qualifying rounds. Yeah, this one I feel pretty stupid about. Like, Ludogorets Bulgarian team, Karabakh, Azerbaijan. I think there's a real home advantage given distance, but again, like the asymmetry is not there. Of course, Fanatics, smart promotion, very different structure than others where you get like $200 in free bets. Instead, Fanatics setup. I made a video about Fanatics bet promotion before, but essentially, like if you bet up to 100, they will match you for that bet, and the bet has to settle, so it can't be a push, so it can't be a draw no bet. And so I think my mistake was frankly I should have, right, because in football you have three outcomes, so frankly, and so you're 33%, 33%, 33%. Frankly, what I should have done was just do some MLB or basketball or NFL and just take like that like base 50-50 and then just sweat it out. I think would have